Good evening, and welcome along to our Christmas special here on NVTV. We're here at number 2 Royal Avenue, and behind these doors, apparently it's all dressed up like a winter wonderland, especially for our show this year. So who's coming up? You're just going to have to wait and find out. But let's get things started with a track from his brand new album, Pure and Simple. Here is the fabulous Derek Ryan.
Lost the fight to the depths of winter. You came with the summer breeze, like the final missing piece, to put my heart at ease. Pure and simple, you take me high, you sing me low, you carry me like a river flow. This is why I love you so. Pure and simple. What lies in store? Your heart's an open door. I need not one for more. Pure and simple. If life brings a darker day, you show me a brighter way. I pray we'll always stay. Pure and simple. You take me high, you sing me low, you carry me like a river flow. This is why I love you so. Pure and simple. You make me smile, you dry my tears, you guide me through my deepest fears. I will love you all my years, pure and simple. A river flow. This is why I love you so. Pure and simple. You make me smile, you dry my tears, you guide me through my deepest fears. I will love you all my years. Pure and simple.
So there we go, brand new music from Derek Ryan. That's Pure and Simple from his new album of the same title. And I'm pleased to say he joins us in our Winter Wonderland Dome. Derek, how are you?
I'm great, thanks for having me.
Obviously you just filmed that video this morning. You walked off the set and you're here now as well.
Yeah, budget is, you know, times are tight, same jacket.
So first time in a Christmas Dome for an interview?
Yeah, I know, I'm very excited, and the sound is kind of, It's
strange, isn't it?
Very
kind
strange.
Of echoing all over the place and stuff. Yeah, anyway. Tell me all about the new album then, because there isn't too many people who kind of feature their great granny on their CD, but you've done it. How and why?
Well, you know, my great granny Kane actually inspired the whole concept of the album, really, Pure and Simple, because it's inspired by traditional music I would have grown up listening to, and the songs passed down to me, you know, through generations. So I wrote a song about her that's on the album, with the help of my dad telling me a lot of stories from years ago. Myself and a great songwriting friend of mine, Jerry Carney, sat down and we wrote the song. And then a few months before this, I came across footage of her, which was filmed back in the early 80s, before she died and before I was born.
Yeah.
In a cottage in her cottage in County Carlow, and it was like a session really. My uncles, my dad, my grandfather were all singing and playing music, and she was kind of the star of the show, really. She was the talent of the family. So I took the audio from that and put it at the end of the song.
Brilliant.
Did a duet with her. So I'm glad that the song features on it, because as I say, the whole album is kind of centered around that, you know, back to my roots and all kind of production-wise. It's stripped back a little bit, and yeah, so I hope people enjoy it.
Brilliant, as well as some really old songs, new songs on there as well, including a Mick Hanley song.
Mick Hanley song, yeah. The great Mick Hanley wrote Heard It Before, Joe. And I heard it actually,
I always loved the song, and I heard Sean Keane's version, and I kind of had a feeling that Mick had written it, you know, just by the style of it and the lyrics. So I contacted him, and he said yeah, and he gave me his blessing to record it. And there's then some traditional songs on as well, like Kilcannon.
Which kind of takes you right back to your childhood, that song, doesn't it?
Yeah. I remember my dad coming back with a book of lyrics of old songs, and 50 songs or something like that. And I remember Kilcannon, I used to call it the little skillet pot, but it's one of my favourite songs. I just love singing it. And then the Mingulay Boat song, and there's a few traditional songs on it, but eight originals. So. Yeah,
and I've got a duet with Emma Langford as well on there.
Yeah. I suppose it's a ballad love song, and I always loved Emma's voice, you know, real hauntingly kind of beautiful folk voice, and she really adds to the song, and I sent it on to her, and she loved it and wanted to be involved, so that's probably one of my favourites on the album.
Brilliant. So the album's out now, and I believe there's going to be a tour to follow next year as well.
Yeah, we're touring all over. We're in the Ulster Hall in Belfast, and we're in the Millennium Forum. We're all over. We're in Armagh, Cookstown, Omagh, you name it. So we're really looking forward to it. It's going to be a brand new show, songs from the album. So it's good to be back out there and doing what we love, you know.
So what about highlights of the year then? Has it been a good year for you?
It's been a great year. I mean, look, just getting back on the road is a highlight in itself, you know. This time last year, obviously, we went back into a kind of a lockdown, so we had loads of gigs planned for last Christmas. They never happened, so it's just been brilliant to be back out. We kicked off a concert tour the end of January this year, and pretty much since then it's been hectic with the album, recording the album as well. So I think we didn't know how lucky we were with time during lockdown. So it's hard to fit everything in, but it's great to be, as I say, it's great to be back.
So what about plans for Christmas then? What's in store?
I don't want to sound like a Scrooge or whatever, but it's going to be work.
Yeah?
Yeah, pretty much. But we'll have a chance for Christmas dinner, obviously, and then we're back out Boxing Night in the Rhinedale in Moy, which is always a massive night.
Yes,
and then we're straight through to the new year, and then I have a little holiday booked for myself for it in January, so I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. So when's the Ulster Hall gig? When can we come and see you?
Ulster Hall is the February the 4th.
Okay.
And all details are on my website, DerekRyanMusic.com.
Brilliant. We look forward to that. Best of luck with the new album as well.
Thank you very much.
Good to see you as always, Derek. Thank you.
Thanks, Rob.
Thank you.
Darling, won't you take my hand? Days like these aren't what we planned, but the fields are green and the meadows high. Times are hard, but we'll get by. We will dream of a brighter day, when the crops will grow and the children play. Flower boxes on the windowsill, oh, the sun is in the sky and the cows are on the hill. Generations knew the score, this troubled wind has blown before, but our herd will move to higher ground, where new beginnings will be found. We will dream of a brighter day, when better times will come our way. Flower boxes on the windowsill, oh, the sun is in the sky and the cows are on the hill. Of a brighter day, when the crops will grow and the children play. Flower boxes on the windowsill, oh, the sun is in the sky and the cows are on the hill. Oh, yeah. We will dream of a brighter day, when better times will come our way. On the windowsill, oh, the sun is in the sky and the cows are on the hill. Oh, flower boxes on the windowsill now, oh, the sun is in the sky and the cows are on the hill now. windowsill now. Oh, the sun is in the sky and the cows are on the hill now. Oh, flower boxes on the windowsill now. Oh, the sun is in the sky and the cows are on the hill now. Oh, flower boxes on the windowsill now. Oh, the sun is in the sky and the cows are on the hill. Hey!
Hi, I'm Alan McKee, one half of Grimes and McKee. The other half, Grimes, is getting a photo shoot without me at the moment for some reason. Although they have put me in this, so I think I'm definitely going to be part of the photo shoot at some stage. I'm hoping for that.
Well, this year's show is just going to be fresh off the press. It's going to be so fresh you'll be able to smell the dung off it. And it's going to be topical, satirical, and it's going to be funny.
Well, I'm going to be singing more this year by popular request of Connor's mother. Actually, Connor Grimes' mother thinks I'm a great singer.
And there's going to be dancing, and I'm going to be doing a lot of dancing.
By popular request of me, because I find his dancing very amusing.
I think you should get your tickets now because that gets you the best seats in the house. We just can't wait to get you all in here and give you an extra special Grimes and McKee Christmas.
So there we go, that's a little clip from the Grimes and McKee Christmas Cracker, which is currently running at the Lyric Theatre here in Belfast. And I'm pleased to say that the McKee part of Grimes and McKee, Alan McKee, joins us in the studio. How are you?
I'm great, Robin. Great to be here.
Welcome to our little winter wonderland.
It's marvellous.
Fabulous, isn't it?
Absolutely marvellous. I thought you might have lit the fire, but...
We should have, because it is freezing out there, isn't it?
It is, absolutely.
Yeah,
but it's Christmassy, isn't it?
It's Christmassy, it's festive. And of course, you're all festive because the show's up and running and people are having a great time, aren't they?
Yeah, well, I assume they're having a great time. Certainly no one's waited for us at the stage door yet to tell us they're not, which has happened before.
Really?
So yeah, we're big houses and people are having fun, and it's great. It's just so good to be doing live stuff again.
Yeah, exactly. So how many years have you and Connor been doing this for now? It seems a long time, isn't it?
It is a long time. We first did our first Christmas thing, just the two of us together, in 1998.
Wow.
In the OMAC, the Old Museum Arts Centre.
Yeah.
And then we've sort of been everywhere since. But obviously our association with the Lyric is it's our longest running thing, and it's great to be in the Lyric again. It's like pulling on an old leather jacket, you know.
Yes,
This fits, this is right.
And of course, before the comedy partnership, you went back to working in pantos at Christmas as well. I remember seeing you in the old fabulous Arts Theatre way back in the day.
Gosh, yeah, in the Arts Theatre, running around, maybe playing 4 characters, and none of them terribly well, probably. You know. They were great fun, and you know, and there was a whole gang like Christina Nelson. Used to do a lot of those. So it's funny now. Christina and I sort of run into each other backstage because she's in the Snow Queen.
Of course, yes.
So we started going, are we meant to be? Oh no, we're in different shows. That's all right.
Yeah. And there is something great about working at Christmas time, isn't there?
Yeah, I think so. I think you get the full feeling of all the Christmas spirit, because you know, we get so many people that are out in their Christmas do, or they're out as an extended family. So, and they're all having a great time. There's so many people wearing their Christmas jumpers.
Yes.
You know, so you come out in the bar afterwards, and there's all that crack, you know, going on. Then, and then you know, people are going, "This is the 4th time we've seen you," and you know, and we're just going, "4th beginners."
Exactly.
Yeah, beginners.
Yes. So, what kind of things can we expect from the show then this year?
Well, we've a couple of sort of returning characters that are always favourites. We have our priest and our Ulster Scots speaking vicar.
Yes.
Who are doing, yet again, trying to do sort of a ecumenical service on a Christmas Eve. Doesn't go terribly well, as you might expect. We've got a couple of chaps at the Rugger.
Oh,
on Friday night.
Boys from Ravenhill, yes.
Alistair and Alistair.
Yes.
They're both called Alistair. One of them works for Alistair McAllister Associates. And they're at the rugby and talking about that. We've got a couple of dog walkers this year.
Yes.
There's a lot of dogs in the show this year for some reason.
Yes.
but it may be something to do with the fact that Frankie McCafferty, our director, got a puppy this year.
Okay,
so
yes,
there's been a
yes.
lot of talk about dogs. So I'm just working, maybe
right,
that's,
okay, that's yes,
why it
yes,
came in
yeah.
there. So yeah, the dog walkers who are two entrepreneurial chaps who are walking the dogs of the rich and lazy, and potentially casing their houses for what they might steal at Christmas.
Okay, yes, of course,
As well.
And there's a music element to it as well. Rod McVeigh's doing the music too,
The
isn't he?
wonderful Rob McVeigh, who I think he has Stockholm syndrome at this point. He's been taken hostage for so long. Rod's there playing live, which is so good. There's nothing better than a live musician who can interact with an audience and interact with us, what we're doing as well. So yeah, a number of songs, dancing.
Yeah.
We've entered the TikTok arena.
Right, okay, yes, yes, yeah.
Which I think is a hypothetical arena as opposed to an actual one. It all sounded a bit Running Man to me.
So your show's running until New Year's Eve?
We run till the 30th.
Oh, right,
actually,
okay, yes,
yeah, we
yes.
finished on the 30th. So we'll get 2 New Year's Eve parties
Yes.
in a row. So we have the one with all the cast and crew and,
Yeah.
and all the people in the theatre, and then have the one which will probably be me sitting with a sore head watching Jules.
Yes, exactly,
Going,
yes.
I don't know why did I drink so much last night.
So once you finish this, then it's into something very exciting. History of the Troubles is coming back, which is an amazing show, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been phenomenal for us. So it's 10 years since we actually did it last, would you
Wow.
believe? And it's 20 years since we did it for the first time.
Now I'm feeling old. I remember it the first time round.
Yes, yes. Yeah, we're back out again. We've a bit of a change this year, personnel. Ivan Little, who played Jerry Courtney all the way through. Ivan had a bit of an injury, a bit of a leg injury. Just didn't feel that he'd be able to give it his whole lot. So he's very sort of graciously stepped back. Sorry to lose him, but we do have the wonderful Marty Maguire
Yes, yeah.
stepping in, and I've known Marty maybe 35 years.
Right, yeah.
And we've never been on stage together.
Really?
No. Now, we've done like radio things.
Yes,
and
yes,
we've done
yeah.
readings of
Yes,
plays
yes.
together and all that. Never actually been in a show together, so I'm looking forward to that.
Going to be lots of fun. When does that open then? Grand Opera House, isn't it?
We're in the Grand Opera House. We run from the 6th to the 11th in the
Yes.
Grand Opera House. Just pulled that out of somewhere. Of February,
Yeah.
that is. So we're actually opening. We've got like a week on tour, and then a week in the Opera House, and then a week on tour. So as they say, see local press for details.
Exactly. Fabulous. You've managed to get a few days off over Christmas, haven't you?
Yeah, we've got good break. Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, Boxing Day.
Brilliant.
And then back at it. And those shows always between Christmas and New Year are some of the best crack.
Yeah, yeah.
Always, I think, because people are dying. They're so happy to be out of the house again.
Exactly, yes, yeah.
And looking at people other than their relatives.
Yes, yeah,
you know.
yeah. Brilliant. Well, Alan, good to see you as always.
Thanks, Robin.
Thank you for coming in and have yourself a great Christmas.
And you. Thank you very much.
Okay, let's rock up this Christmas party now. Let's play something from the Outcasts. Here they are with a fabulous track called Stay Young.
Oh, you and me.
Stay young. Are you kidding me?
So there you go, that was the Outcasts and Stay Young. If you're just joining us, welcome to our winter wonderland here at number 2 Royal Avenue here in Belfast City Centre. And I must say a big thank you to the guys at Belfast One who've done a fabulous job of decorating our studio for us today. Things are going to get even more festive. We played the Outcasts and the main man, Greg Cowan, is with us in our winter wonderland. How are you?
Well, this is absolutely lovely, Robin. I feel Christmassy already.
And of course, it wouldn't be Christmas in Belfast without an Outcast gig now.
Do you know, I think it's kind of sweet that it's now turned into a regular thing. Now, we actually missed a few years because of COVID.
Yeah.
And then last year, the Undertones asked us to do a Christmas show with them, so we couldn't really turn that down. But it's so nice to go back to the Black Box.
So what can we expect from the gig?
Well, this is going to be most unusual this year.
Yeah?
But it's called the Outcast Almost Acoustic Christmas Show,
Okay.
where we do Outcast songs, but we play them badly on acoustic guitars. It's a new novelty thing that we're doing. We can barely play them on electric, so we're never really going to ruin them. Plus, we have some special guests. So we've got Uncle Terry, of course, DJing, which like he always does. We have Johnny Hash, who are like an Irish traditional band with a punk theme to it.
Yes,
they're doing a lot of Christmas carols and specials and stuff like that there.
Brilliant.
And we have Cowan, who is my niece, but still an incredibly talented singer. So we're actually trying to give it a more Christmassy feel.
Excellent.
When we're actually performing, do a lot more interaction with the audience, which really means insulting people in the audience. But I do like that there.
So who's in the audience these days? Because I would imagine
Well,
a lot of people are coming in on their Zimmer frames to see you guys.
Do you know what? Isn't it funny? Yes, there's a hardcore of that sort of age group. We've recently done a small Irish tour there with Therapy.
Wow.
And they get a very mixed crowd,
Yeah.
and we were genuinely scared. The first couple of gigs, the audience was young, younger than what maybe I'm used to now, and we killed. I'm proud to say that there. So I'm like to think maybe some of these younger people will come along.
Exactly, yeah. And then next year, you guys are heading out on what I suppose you could call a world tour, aren't you?
Yes, you could call it a world tour, because it is a world tour, Robin. For the first time in my life, we're going to have T-shirts, the Outcast World Tour.
Oh, wow.
It's gone bizarre.
Yeah.
We knew anyway, we were going to Canada for the first time. Then we were going to Sweden for the first time. We were going to Portugal for the first time. We always do France, Germany, regular ones, Switzerland. Then Japan came back.
I want to see an Outcast Japanese gig.
Well,
I
we've
really
already
want
done
to see
it.
that.
You have not. The last time that we went, we really had no idea what we were going to. We knew that all sort of music's big in Japan. There seems to be a place for everything.
Yes, yeah.
We knew punk was still quite big. We didn't know there was a section of Japanese fans who specialised in Northern Ireland punk.
Wow.
How bizarre.
And has that always been there, or has that come off the back of Good Vibrations?
The film.
And stuff? Yeah.
The film. When we played in Tokyo especially, we did 3 gigs in Tokyo, because Tokyo's so big.
Yeah.
And these were sizable venues. Some of the other towns, Osaka, they weren't massive venues, but yet they'd be so bunged that the Japanese are so polite, they would let people in, and then people would go out and let other people in. But in each case, they showed the movie.
Yes, yes.
Sometimes maybe they show the movie before and show the movie afterwards. Who would have thought, I mean, it's been an amazing thing for us.
And of course, Good Vibrations, the stage show, is coming back as well. Which again, you must be picking up gigs in the back of that.
Well, it is the gift that keeps on giving. Number one, it's a fantastic play.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the film, but I think the plays, not just because there's more of me in it, or my character in it. It goes back to the Opera House in May, and from there it goes to New York.
Wow.
Now, there is talk that we might be going some New York shows to back that, which is another one of the bucket list, that you want to do.
Yeah.
I hope so, but there's also part of me going, there's enough gigs this year that, it takes us a wee while to recover, or me. Not so much the rest of them.
I was going to say, is there a kind of fitness regime you guys...
Well, we've got January and February off.
Right, okay.
I have made a promise to myself. I'm going to enjoy Christmas.
Yeah.
We've only got the gig next week in the Black Box.
Of course, yeah.
And it's acoustic, sure, I can just lie about it. January, February is going to be a new Greg for next year.
Yeah.
But you do have to keep a certain level of fitness.
You do.
It does take it out of you. I mean, there's no two ways about it.
Because there's a band you were meant to be touring with, again, and the lead singer, had a heart attack on stage,
Waddy
didn't
from the Exploiter. We should have been playing the O2 in London. The O2 Islington in London, perhaps I should say, because people think it was the big one. But Waddy had his 3rd heart attack on Sunday in Colombia on stage.
Wow.
And this man will not give up.
No. And we should have had Terry sitting there beside you today. That was the plan.
Well, do you know what? I think we've actually done better, Robin. There's too much Terry on everything anyway.
Do you think so?
Get a bit of youth. Get a bit of youth involved instead, Robin.
Because you and Terry go back a long way. I mean, I dread to think of many years ago.
You know, honestly, I met Terry 1976, tail end of 1976. Yeah, it's hard to believe. Never had a cross word.
Yeah.
And then people say that as a joke, you know,
Yeah.
you couldn't, how could you fall out with Terry?
Yeah.
I mean, and I love the fact that Terry now gets to spend the rest of his life as a professional Terry Hooley, because he deserves every plaudit he gets.
Yeah, yeah. And did you think back in '76 you would still be doing this today?
Do you know what? Punk was one of those things, like there's a certain irony to what we're doing now. Like even when you've played that track "Stay Young," I mean that's ironic when we sing that there. It was all about now and then. I mean, there was 3 ambitions. I remember buying guitars and then being on stage but not learning them. You know, it was all about being on a stage. It was about the next week or the next month. It was never.
Yeah.
There was no plan for 2023 world domination. I mean, what? It's madness when you actually sit and think about it. You know, for a band who never really had those sort of ambitions. I loved being in the band all my life.
Yeah.
Really missed it when I wasn't in it.
Yeah.
God, but not this. And for things to snowball, like don't get me wrong, Robin, it's not Coldplay, you know, we're not, you know, we're not. I don't think Coldplay are ringing U2 and go, the Outcasts are coming, you know.
Yeah.
But to be allowed to go to countries, and at the level that we do it, we meet some fantastic people, you know, and we take time to go and see the country, you know. Try to keep the gigs to a minimum and the partying.
How crazy is the partying today?
Do you know what? I am kind of proud of the way that I approach it. You know, before a gig, it's very, I can't drink, you know, the rest of the band, we're very professional. People are paying money. Maybe a beer or 2 beers. Unfortunately, the minute I walk off stage, I buzz.
Yeah.
And I really do.
Yeah.
And I am buzzing, and I do need a pint of whiskey or something to maybe calm me down. That's my favourite. I mean, I love playing on stage, but I also love getting the audience afterwards.
Yes, yeah. I've got Shock Treatment waiting in the wings.
Oh,
They're
I
going
feel
to play
so sorry
live.
for you, Robin. Isn't that awful? And today's been going so well. Oh, I love it.
They're going to play live for us.
Davey. Oh, indeed.
They're going to play live in our snow globe over there. So
I love Davey Snow. It's always nice to look down on a band, and I've always looked down on Shock Treatment.
Brilliant.
I am joking, by the way.
They're on the way. You're playing the Black Box.
Friday, Robin.
Next Friday, the 23rd. 23rd.
Day before, what a better Christmas present for Belfast than us playing.
And it'd be great if it snowed and everything, wouldn't it? It'd be perfect.
Wouldn't it?
Perfect.
Wouldn't it just?
Not
for us old men that might fall.
As both me and Terry Hooley did this week anyway. But anyway, Greg, good
Robin,
to see you as always. Have yourself a happy Christmas.
And yourself,
all right,
mate.
Thank you. Thank you. Now, earlier on this year, we spoke to Daniel James, you might remember from being part of the 90s group Yell. Simon Cowell was behind them. He's also just released some fabulous new solo material this year, and he's back with a festive tune. So here is Daniel James.
Silent nights, holy night, all is calm, all is bright, round yon virgin mother and child, holy infant so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace, sleep in heavenly peace. Oh, holy night, the stars are brightly shining. It is the night of the dear Savior's birth. Long lay the world in sin and error pining, till He appeared and the soul felt its worth. A thrill of hope, the weary soul rejoices, for yonder new and glorious morn. Fall on your knees, hear the angels' voices all night divine, all night when Christ was born. All night divine, all night divine. Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright, round young virgin mother and child, holy infant so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace, sleep in heavenly
There's a lot of great charity work being done throughout Belfast in the run-up to Christmas. I'm pleased to say that Joanne McMaster from the NSPCC joins us now in our little winter wonderland. How are you?
I'm great, Robin. Thank you so much for having me today.
Brilliant. So it just happens that you're here today, and the latest figures have come out from Childline as well, which actually have revealed some very worrying statistics. We all know about the cost of living crisis at the moment. It's causing so many issues, but you wouldn't think the children are worried about the financial impacts, but they are, especially on their families, aren't they?
They are, Robin. I think that over the course of the last few years has been worrying for children. You know, we've came through Brexit into a pandemic, and then, you know, children have talked to us at Childline about the war with Ukraine and Russia, and now we're into a cost of living crisis, and, you know, nobody can avoid it. We're all hearing about it every day. Children are hearing about it in their households, and the worrying thing about it is that if children you know, have something on their minds that they need to talk about, or perhaps, you know, for children who are suffering neglect or abuse, they're already hearing about the difficulties that their parents and the struggles that families are under, and you know, they may not want to add to those pressures within the family home.
And we say as well that more children are using Childline now than ever before, aren't they?
That's right, that's right. We're seeing an increase in contacts coming through to Childline, and whilst we are having an increase in children getting in touch, which is absolutely fantastic, we are seeing a reduction in the number of volunteers that we have getting involved, so it's a difficult time.
So are you looking for volunteers to get involved
Always,
with them? Yeah?
Absolutely, always looking for volunteers. You know, and anybody who's interested in volunteering at Childline can go onto our website at nspcc.org.uk, and all of the details are on there on how to get involved.
And you must hear some horrendous stories. So what kind of things do you hear when children are phoning into you then?
Children talk to us about all sorts of things. Children talk to us about abuse and neglect. As we've said, they're talking to us at the minute a lot about the cost of living and the crisis. But, you know, children, particularly at this time of the year, we may hear children talk about perhaps contact issues, you know, the struggles of having to make a decision, are they staying with mum or are they going to dad for Christmas, and, you know, the pressures that puts on them. And of course, December and January, we do hear more children disclosing for the first time about abuse, sexual abuse in particular. So, you know, children talk to us about all different kinds of problems. The number one concern that children talk to us about, and this hasn't changed over the last few years, it's remained the same, but that top concern is emotional mental health.
Yes, yeah.
The second is family relationships, and the third is heartbreaking, it's suicidal thoughts and feelings.
Crazy.
It's crazy.
It really is. And the one that is quoted in the information from Childline today is one girl from Northern Ireland contacted Childline just to say, I'm struggling with coping with the state of the world right now.
Yeah.
Which is something you would never think that a child should have on their shoulders thinking about at the moment.
Yeah. I think when you think of the access children now have to, you know, media right across the world in terms of their social media, news feeds, that there's just no getting away from it. You know, they're hearing everything that's going on in the world, and they are worrying about it, you know, and maybe not necessarily talking about it, you know, within the family home. And that's a great thing about Childline being there. It's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, right through Christmas. Our counsellors will be there for children at the end of the phone or online.
Yeah. And when you talk about the mental health issues, suicidal thoughts and stuff, that's kind of coming away from social media as well. Social media aren't doing any favours, are they really?
No, absolutely not. And I think that, you know, we do talk to children about, you know, keeping safe online. And actually we have webinars that we deliver to families and to businesses if they want to talk to their staff about keeping their own children safe online. So safety online is a big thing.
Okay, well if people want to join, as you said, join you as a volunteer, they can do that as well. Where do they go to find out more information about that?
They go to nspcc.org.uk.
Brilliant. Joanne, it's been great talking to you. Thank you for coming in. Have yourself a great Christmas.
You too. Thank you very much, Robin. Thank you.
Okay, my next guest on the show was only on the show a couple of weeks back. She was so lovely, we thought we'd invite her back again because, of course, it is Christmas and she was part of one of the greatest Christmas movies of all time. We're talking about Love Actually, and I'm pleased to say we can say hello, Martine McCutcheon. How are you?
Oh, it's so lovely to speak to you again. It's lovely to see you. It's whizzing by. Time's whizzing by this time of year, right?
So, Martine, the nation's favourite Christmas movie of all time has been revealed, and we can tell everybody that it is actually Love Actually.
Da, da, da. Oh, do you know what? It's honestly, it's something I absolutely do adore. Christmas, genuinely, always have done. Ever since I was a kid, I was called Christmas Fairy because I absolutely loved it. So it's quite apt that the film that I'm involved with, that's become some kind of mad phenomenon, really, that's just snowballed and snowballed over the last 2 decades, is about Christmas and is about love. And it just yeah, I think like love is the most kind of closest thing to real life magic that you can have. And I think, you know, at the time when the Twin Towers happened, that's what we were talking about with the adversity. We've had a lot of sadness with the pandemic and lockdown and all of that stuff, and I think people are more grateful than ever, and they're realizing that love and different kinds of love is the glue that kind of brings us back together, and that's why it seems to just keep going.
So what are your memories of making the movie then? Were they as good as what we think they probably should have been?
Yeah, and more. I mean, honestly, you know, I could say, oh, it was really tricky, but the end result was amazing. But I have to say, the whole experience was just gorgeous. You know, I think because a lot of the stars that I was working with, they'd earned their stripes, they'd won their Oscars or their Emmys or their Tonys, or they were the biggest movie stars around, and there was no ego involved. They wanted you to shine. They wanted you to be the best that you could be, to feel confident. They knew that the people that weren't as known were really nervous to be working with them, myself included. And it just, they just felt like a family that, you know, that were the best of the best that had your back. And it was gorgeous. And Richard, I think it starts at the top, doesn't it? Any team environment, it starts at the top. And it was his directing debut. I think he was a bit nervous about it, but he'd written this beautiful script. And it kind of like filtered down from him, really.
Now, Alan Rickman, of course, was in the cast, and he was someone that was very close to you. He gave you some great advice, didn't he?
because my confidence being at an all-time low, I was literally holding the script and shaking. And I was trying not to, but no matter what I did, I was shaking. And he sort of nudged me under the table with his leg and he said to me, you know, are you okay? And I said, no, I'm so nervous, Alan. I just don't think I can do this. I just don't think I'm going to get my words out. I just don't think I'm going to be able to do it. And he said, you know what? I said, what? He said, we're all nervous, darling. We're just acting like we're not. He said, act like you're not nervous. Act like you're confident and it will happen. And the actress in me just kicked in. And it was the best advice he could have given me. And he gave me a little wink and a smile. And he was just delightful. And when I finished reading, he smiled at me and kind of like gave me, you know, that was a perfect gesture. And we were such great friends throughout filming, through the premieres. You know, he had my back. He was lovely.
And what about that famous kiss with Hugh Grant? Was that something you were nervous about doing?
Yeah, you know, it was something that for the film as well as for me, you know, I wanted it to be right. I wanted it to be, you know, this chemistry that we had. And most of all, I think before the actual kiss, the bit where you're behind the scenes in the wings and they get very, very close, like they're going to kiss, you want that chemistry, you want that to be there. And I think we captured that. You know, I think myself and Hugh on screen had an amazing chemistry. And we're so different, you know, and I think that's why it works. We're like yin and yang as people, and background and everything. And what was so lovely was that we had some, you know, extras and supporting actors, but we also had real people. Friends of the cast and crew came to fill out the audience when we filmed it. And Richard filmed the actual reaction of the first time they saw us kissing, and we kissed and we heard literally gasp go, oh! and that made it feel like that we'd done our job, you know. It worked. And Richard was just like, okay, go for it again, more passion, go for it again, more passion. You've been kind of like wanting to do this, you guys. You've been tiptoeing around each other at work, you know. And he wanted to just have different versions that he could choose that he felt would be right for the film.
Now, film and TV seems to bring people together at Christmas. Why do you think that is? I think
because a lot of the things that people watch seem to be the same thing, even though there's more channels than there's ever been before. I think people go back to the things that make them feel good and make them feel comforted. And I think that things like Love Actually, it's the glue, it's the love, it's the hope, it's the optimism that we need, you know, for whatever reason it may be in the world at that time. And it's something that we all have in common. Christmas can also be a difficult time for people. And I think, again, you know, that love and that comfort and the things that we're drawn to watch that either make us laugh or make us, I think love is the closest thing, like I said, to real life magic. And I think that's why people are drawn to the same things over and over and over. And it does unite us, bring us together. And yeah, I think that's why.
And what about life at Albert Square? It was always pretty miserable down there on Christmas Day, wasn't it?
Although, you know, dramatic, really dramatic. We used to kind of like get the scripts for it in like September time, October time. And we would always be so excited to find out like what drama is going to happen at Christmas. So it was really good. It was a great thing to be a part of. And again, I made lifelong friends there. And so now it's all about just the family Christmas, hosting Christmas at home. And I'm involved with this campaign, the One Full Gift Card, which they're saying that, you know, the main causes of festive fights are finding and buying the wrong presents for each other, which myself and my husband have had before, where he's run out on Christmas Eve and he's done a Joey from Friends where he's got me a screen wash and a compass or something random. And I'm just like, Where is the thought in that? I've got you all these lovely presents, and what is this? And yeah, so the wonderful gift card is lovely because basically you can have it personalized. You can put however much money you want on it. And let's face it, Christmas is, when you buy all those little presents or you buy all those gifts, it adds up to a lot of money. Yeah. And you don't want someone to not enjoy what you're getting them. So this way, like for instance, my sister, she's really stylish, but she has different style to me. We're going to go out on Christmas Eve, have a glass of champagne. She's going to use her card. She's going to get me one, and we're going to get what we really want. So, and so that way it's a win-win. But yeah, we do have like the little bickers at Christmas. We do have the arguments like everyone else. I know my stepdad's going to be going to a single again Lulu at the Christmas table, and she's going to be looking at me with daggers going so yeah, it'll be fun. We'll make sure it's fun. There'll be music and drink and food flowing, and we'll have a laugh.
Now, looking ahead to next year, are there any exciting projects coming up that we should know about? Yeah,
there's a couple of things. Well, there's one thing that's really exciting that I can't talk about yet, but when in lockdown, I naturally just started to get more followers asking me about my interiors and fashion and beauty and all of that stuff. And I was signed to Elliott model agency, which was amazing and shows how it's brilliant how the industry's changed, and a woman in her 40s could be signed to an agency, which is great. And so now I do like a lot of branding and lifestyle work, which is really creative for me and really lovely with my 7-year-old son, because he's the only one I've got, and I don't want to miss. I don't want to be in a trailer for 17 hours a day doing a movie where I'm used for 1 hour and miss seeing my boy grow up. Yeah. So I'm going to be doing a lot more of that, a lot more collaborations, which I'm really excited about. I'm also going to be working on a new album. I want to do some music again. Yes. Really want to sing again. Yeah, just some little bits and bobs TV wise that I'm really excited about. So lots of nice little bits in the pipeline.
Well, Martine, as always, it's great talking to you. Thank you so much for joining us on the show, and have yourself a very happy Christmas.
You too. Merry Christmas.
Bye-bye.